Oh boy, this change is already causing some stir. Now, Year 8 overall looks pretty good in my opinion, but in Season 2, Frost is getting a rework, and it was so significant, in fact, that Ubisoft revealed it, firstly at Six Invitational, but also made it a part of the roadmap. So it's a pretty key part of the marketing campaign. Look, I'll be honest and say that I really just don't think it was that impressive. Let's have a look at the reveal and we'll come back and discuss.
We're actually revisiting Frost, specifically her welcome mat. And what that means is right now, many of our players can find themselves in a situation where they have been welcomed into, say, welcome mat, and then they're stranded and stuck. Well, again, about empowering both sides of the fight here, players will be able to get themselves up. The catch here is that when we talk about making any changes like this to try to remove frustration, we want to make sure that we're empowering both sides. So in this case, Frost will actually be able to track you down because you will not be able to sprint, you will leave a blood trail, and those defenders will still be able to get you. It'll still take time to get out of that trap, but she can still hunt you down.
So, as you can see, the reworked Frost will allow attackers that are trapped to self-revive, to take themselves out of the trap, they then leave a blood trail for the remainder of the round and are unable to sprint. Now, I don't think that these changes are inherently bad. It's very difficult to look at these changes and say that this is bad for the game. I think it does alleviate some of the frustration that can arise from getting stuck in a Frostman and take away some of that player autonomy. And there is a trade-off. There's a downside still to falling in mats. So I don't think it's going to be absolutely terrible. It is, however, a significant nerf to Frost still. And the biggest issue I have with it is the prioritization of the attention that operators are getting. Rainbow Six Siege is the best spot it has ever been for balancing, don't get me wrong, but there are still quite a few operators that are undertuned, that are not fun to play, that aren't great to play against, and the stats reflect that. Some of these operators include Grim, Sense, Zero, thankfully he's getting a rework. On the side of the defense, you still have operators like Clash, Tachanka isn't really great and utilized either. And that's probably the bone to pick that I have with this change. Frost could have survived a lot longer being untouched, and other operators could have had resources dedicated towards improving them. So it is a little bit frustrating and a little bit confusing that Frost is falling victim to this. But as I said, I don't think it's inherently that bad of a change, and Frost was perhaps a little bit overtuned and frustrating to play against. Now, what could Ubisoft have done to make Frost less frustrating to play against? I completely understand the theory behind the mat itself, the primary gadget being a source of frustration, right? You jump in the trap, you get stuck, you may not have seen it, it's in a dark corner, your teammate might not have called it out, didn't get pinged, whatever. It sucks, it's not fun to play against. But I think overall, Frost was still in a pretty good spot, and I think there's going to be parts of Siege that are just frustrating, and you can't dilute the game enough for it to completely alleviate that. It's a competitive game. People are going to get annoyed. It's kind of just the nature of a video game. I think there could have been other things addressed or looked at before going for a fully fledged rework. And we backtracked Ember Rise 4.3. Barbed wire was taken away. Deployable shield was given to Frost. It took a little while for that to sort of kickstart her back into the meta. It took until like 5.3, I think, until she got the secondary shotgun. That's when she really came into the meta because she could restructure sight. You add that together, and that's what made Frost so powerful. The 9mm that have gradually got nerfed. They took away the 1.5. The angled grip universally got nerfed. So she was in a really, really good position for a long time. I think they probably could have reeled back perhaps a couple of those changes. Maybe Frost without shotgun, but then you run the risk of her not being as fun to play and you have less players to structure sight. Okay, fair enough. Deployable shield though. I think this should have been addressed and taken care of well before a rework was even considered and resources were put towards making this change. Why wasn't it tested? She had the deployable shield for a long, long time now. There's plenty of other undervalued defenders that could be taking deployable shields instead. That's the change that personally I would have liked to have seen. Just take it away from her. Give her something else like impacts or whatever. It doesn't really matter. Take the shield away because as we've seen with a lot of different operators, the shield can definitely make or break them. Anyway, I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Didn't want this video to be too negative. Again, like I said, Year 8's looking really good. I'll probably make a couple more videos about it in the future. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in the next one.